Oh, here, this is what I wanted to look at.
Gasoline was $1.87. That was a year ago.
He's on Mark Levin, dude. What a king.
And now it's, I guess, just hit $7.50 in California, the rest to follow. And I predicted this.
Dude, this is so funny because first of all, gas is not $7.50 in California. But I love that he's saying that gas was $1. Yeah, I wonder why it was $1 a year ago, dude. No, it wasn't $1, but it was still very cheap. There was a point. No, there was like a point where gas was very cheap. Okay, it was never $1, but it was very cheap. I wonder what was happening at the time because people really weren't driving around. Gasoline, it was so cheap, folks. It was so cheap. Well, yeah, because no one could drive around because there was nowhere to go.
Gasoline was $1.87. That was a year ago. And now it's, I guess, just hit $7.50 in California, the rest to follow. And I predicted this.
No flying, no fucking nothing. Hold on.
Behind, we weren't leaving 10 cents behind. I said every bolt, every screw, every nail comes out. And all of these things, it was a beautiful period. I was under assault, like no president has ever been, I assume. I don't think any president has ever been under assault like this. And one thing after another, phony impeachments. I call it the impeachment hoax #1, the impeachment hoax #2, the Mueller thing, although it worked out good, but it took 2.5 years, and it made it very difficult to deal with certain countries, in particular Russia. You know, we could have done some great things with Russia. Very good for our country, also good for Russia. But
I love when he says no other president has ever been attacked as much as he's been attacked, especially considering like Abraham Lincoln, JFK, even fucking Ronald Reagan, when you think about it. I mean, a lot of the presidents used to get shot all the time, okay? Not saying we should bring it back, but they used to get shot. They would get shot like regularly. That was a thing, okay? He would just get shot like straight up. Even Bush, yeah. Even Bush had a shoe thrown at him. And goddamn, was he athletic, dude.
You couldn't do that because they would have said, oh, he loves Russia. These people are sick. And I wanted. That's the biggest problem we had. So I became, we did very well with Kim Jong-un. And we liked each other. Isn't that a terrible thing to say? We liked each other. I'll get criticized. Oh, he likes Kim Jong-un. Well, that's what we have. And I did. I got along with him great. He got along with me great. After a very rough start, if you remember Little Rocket Man and the buttons, he said, we have a red button and we'll use it. I said, no, our button's bigger than yours and our button works. And it was...
He's running his greatest hits. Look at me. I defeated the People's Republic. Okay, I did. Believe me, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the real Korea, the true Korea. We're gonna unify. I told them we're gonna unify Korea, and then believe me, I said we got a big button, the biggest of buttons. Come on, dude. Look at how proud he is. He's talking about how his fucking button was bigger. And that is like, the most effective foreign policy that he could have done.
It's nasty. And then all of a sudden, it ended, and all of that stopped. We did a great job. We rebuilt our military, much up in a war.
Trump says the 1917 Spanish flu probably ended World War I. He had previously the 1917 Spanish flu ended World War II.
The Spanish flu, it was called. And it possibly killed as many as 100 million people. I don't know if you read the history of the Spanish flu, but you probably, I think you read about everything, come to think of it. But it probably...
What the fuck does Mark Levin have in front of him?
Probably was a thing that was most responsible for ending World War I, because all the soldiers were sick, and many were dying. The Spanish flu was devastating, and they say up to 100 million people died. And it probably did end World War I, but 100 million people...
He does not know how to read, okay? Our country's not living up to the Constitution.
And You know, our country is not living up to the Constitution right now with the kind of things you see. They're trying to subvert it. And more so now than anybody would ever believe. Bernie Sanders is saying, I can't believe they're doing this. This is far more than what they're doing to our country is perhaps, you know, they talk socialism. This is communism in so many ways. There's no freedom of the press. The press is totally corrupt. The press and them are the same. There's no freedom of the press. That's how communism starts.
Yeah, totally. Communism is when no freedom of the press, and the less freedom of the press, the more communism happens. Except like under the Trump administration, the fucking J20 protesters and like actual press members were unfairly prosecuted for many years. Like, you know, he routinely attacked the press. Like, it's okay. It's like when I have my brown shirts, they got beautiful shirts. They're brown. The shirts are brown. People say I'm racist, but I got people wearing brown shirts out there. Believe me, when they're trying to beat up journalists, that's a good thing because they're doing fake news. Trump said they did a phenomenal job on COVID, except for public relations, no matter what he did. Jimmy Carter is a very happy man because he's no longer going down as the worst president in history. My favorite old conservative guy grievance is just like, Jimmy Carter, very happy, no longer the worst president. Why? Trump, I have a picture of Nancy Pelosi. I have a picture of Merkel, who I get along with very well. That was a pointer also. We have a lot of pointers, you know? Honestly, I think Biden has it worse than Trump. At least his base liked him. Mostly libs like normality, but Biden himself and leftists can't stand him. You minimize Soviet atrocities and genocides, dipshit? No, I don't. No, I do not. Unless you think like me saying that, you know, ripping the fucking Nazis is, you know, minimizing a Soviet atrocity or something. In which case, like, no, I think that was warranted and good. VIP him, Puggo. Yeah, no, killing Nazis was pretty awesome. It's like very cool. Same energy as killing slave owners, you know? I'm clipping you on that. What, you think I'm anti-John Brown? Like, what the fuck kind of bullshit is that? If you're anti-John Brown, we fighting. Soviets genocided Poles when they invaded you, dumbass. Okay, not good. You know, shouldn't have done that. Are you happy? I'm French and I wanted to ask you something. Do you think that as much as France is late from several years from USA, I'll see a rising of racism in my country? It's not kind of happening, bro. It's definitely happening. You said you don't care about Canadian grifters, but Steven Crowder? Kansas education on John Brown is crazy. It's actually taught that he was kind of bad overall and the jury is still out on him. Wait, really? You're still posted up with the flag? Dude, I wear MAGA hats too. Like I fucking rock the American flag from time to time too. It's so fucking stupid whenever people say like, oh my God, you have the USSR flag. Yeah, I know, I do. I don't have a problem with communist iconography. I do not think it's the same as fucking Nazi shit. It's not. It literally is not. The hammer and sickle is a symbol for communism. Just because Stalin was fucking bad on numerous accounts does not change that reality. You can't fucking... you can try, as fascists regularly do, and pinpoint everything that communism represents and everything that communists have done back to Stalin, beyond the good things that Stalin did, like defeat the Nazis. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. Is it the same as the Union flag? No, it's not. It's not. And the reason why it's not is because of the length of its existence and what it represents. Symbols at a certain point are attached to whatever people have done in the name of said symbols, right? And all symbols have a fuckload of violent atrocities associated with it, the American flag being one of those, right? But when it comes to like the Confederate flag or when it comes to the Nazi flag, well, sucks to suck. You lost, permanent L plus your white plus ratio. But the only thing that that imagery will ever be associated with is that devastating defeat and also all the horrible things that they tried to do and failed to do. That's what happens. If the Confederacy had survived and continued and actually like fucking were abolitionists at some point in their fucking existence, then people wouldn't be as upset with it. But that's not what happened. It's a flag of failure, and it's a flag of slavery. It didn't survive long enough to fucking figure out if there were different things going on and change its attitude. Do you see what I'm saying? Hammer and sickle is also still used by the hammer and sickle is also still used by fucking communist parties all around the world. Yeah. So in my worldview, or I think this is the correct approach, but having the fucking USSR flag is literally no different than having the American flag on. And not a single person would ever in the history of the fucking planet turn around and be like, I can't believe he has the American flag behind him. What the fuck? And I wave the American flag regularly. It doesn't mean you have to be a fucking advocate for Stalin or everything that Stalin did. Anyway, the European colonization of North America was a continent-wide genocide of the indigenous peoples, yet no one protested the Canadian flag. Yup.